I want to apologize to you guys for not being at the last meeting. I was sick, I had a fever, so it was not some attempt to skirt my responsibilities as mayor, as maybe has been suggested. I will let you guys know, I wish I would have been here so I could explain to you how the library appointment process happened. I did receive an application after the election from Pat Flannery, after he was elected to the school board, asking to be appointed to the library board. And I told Pat I thought that would be great. Probably 2 days after that, I received an application from Dan, the second guy that applied. And I told Dan, I said, well, Dan, I already have an application in front of me, and I think you guys are both probably good candidates, so I'm not sure how I would go about appointing other than first come, first serve, which Pat gave me the application first. That's really the only way I know how to handle it fairly. It's probably about a week after that, I got an email from the superintendent that said, just to let you know, that's not how the school board does the appointment process to the library board. They have their own way of choosing a candidate. And I said, I'm sorry, Sean, I was not aware of that. The city charter does not speak to process. It just says that a member has to be a school board member. But I can tell you that things have been pretty controversial at the library, and I would like that not to continue. So I hope that the school board is very prudent with their appointment. And I would like it to be a collaborative process, cooperative process, as in I would like to be a part of the process if we're gonna add somebody else to the library board. I never heard anything back from the school board, and next thing I know, I got an email, a couple emails actually, which Mr. Jansen has FOIA'd them, so I'm sure they'll be out publicly soon, from some concerned residents that says, by the way, the school board is appointing this gentleman to the library board. We don't think he'd be a good representative to the community. So I got back a hold of Sean Vondra, and I said, Sean, I don't know what happened. I never heard from a school board member, but I hear that they've put forth Dan LaRue as an appointment to the library board, and I'm already getting emails of concern from residents about it. So I'm disappointed that there wasn't a collaborative process. I held on to the appointment for a couple months. I did that on purpose. I didn't talk to anybody about that, but I was nervous because I thought that probably there would be some controversy regarding the appointment. After a couple months, I guess I just felt like I didn't have a really good reason to hold on to the appointment anymore, so I brought the appointment forward, and sure enough, as soon as it was on the agenda, I started getting emails about not appointing Dan to the library board. After a couple days, I started to get emails in support of him as well. I'm sure we've all got the emails. I can promise you I've gotten a lot more of them, however many you guys have got. So, you know, whatever happened at the last meeting happened. I will say, you know, I understand the apprehensions that Mr. LaRue was the chair of the Democratic Party. I don't know if that should matter so much or not. This community is about 75% Republican, and let's be frank, this is the swing seat on the library board. I've tried to appoint a diverse cast of characters onto committees because I thought that was fair to have a representation of all sorts of people that live in the community. But that representation should be also a representation of what this community is, which is about 75% conservative way of thinking. So I think we've done a pretty good job at appointing people of different varying beliefs to boards, but I knew that this one was going to be controversial because exactly the point that there's 2 conservative people on and there's 2 liberal people on the library board, and this would be sort of a swing vote. So I'm sure some people don't think that it should matter, somebody's politics, but a lot of those same people that are telling me that it shouldn't matter that he was chair of the Democratic Party are exact same people who wouldn't go to a parade because it was being put on by Republicans. So, you know, what happened. Councilman Palladino did contact me about changing the ordinance, and I told him that was definitely something we could look into. And had I been at the meeting last Monday, knowing having like a gut feeling on how the appointment process was going to go, I would have just pulled the damn appointment off the table and said, we're looking at this and we'll move forward with it in the future, rather than putting the whole community through another controversy. I don't think I could stop the controversy, but I will say I think it was irresponsible for Josh to say those things at the meeting about closing the library. I have talked to him about it. He tells me that he has told me, and I wish he would say this publicly, that it was all theoretical stuff, that he was saying these are things we could do, not that he was advocating that these are things that we should do. But I have gotten some emails about people concerned that we're closing the library or tearing the building down. I myself have said some careless stuff in the past. I learned my lesson, just spitballing ideas about moving it back to the Mitchell building and the outcry that it caused. So, you know, our words carry a lot of weight, and sometimes I forget that and I open my big mouth, but hopefully here we are again and the community's all in uproar, and I'm sorry that it happened. I strongly, very firmly believe that had the school board worked with me cooperatively on the appointment process, that it could have been avoided, but it didn't work out that well. And I like all the members of the school board. I know most of them personally, and they're good people. So I just wanted to say that while everybody's sitting up here at the table. Sorry I wasn't at the last meeting. It wasn't to drop something into your guys' lap and have you have to answer for something.